Human beings' faculty of understanding has developed greatly in the past few centuries, but even today humans are not able to discern how to bring about their own good. This is why people well trained in modern education often invite their own destruction through selflessness, short sightedness, and malice. So called educated and civilized people are seemingly unable to understand the simple truth that uncontrolled nationalism gives rise to animosity toward foreign countries, undiscriminating love of one's own country, incites one to plunder the riches of other peoples, and superficial love of one's own religion leads to disrespect of the religions of others. From ancient times, various systems have been used in civilized societies to teach young minds. In India, the institution of education was called Brahmacharya Ashrama, the student stage of life, and the students were known as brahmacharis. Like modern day military training, the system of brahmacharya education was highly regulated. As a result, the educated people developed a noble character, and society accepted their decisions with great respect. Even after suffering the tyranny of powerful, though uncivilized or half civilized nations from ancient times, India is still alive today with full vitality as a result of that education. It is now your responsibility to return India to her former glory with the help of real education. That society in which every person gets full opportunity for advancement is truly a progressive society. It is no longer responsible possible to suppress one segment of society and advance the other. Everyone must now be given an equal opportunity. Students, remain mindful of your own self improvement and strive to raise all the people of India equally. By taking this great vow, your lives will be blessed. All living beings, with the exception of human being, follow the impulses of the education, can control his body and mind, and move independently. Such a method of education was prevented in India, but because of our long period of subjugation by other nations, we have almost completely lost our Indian culture. Now, in this free India, it will not do to follow such old sayings, as those who learn to read and write will ride in cars and on horses. That is, lead comfortable lives. In the present days, it is not possible to survive without advancements in all aspects of human life. Before discussing the means for manifesting the power of thinking and acting, it is necessary to understand the real nature of human being. Once we have understood that, our task will be easy. Therefore, we shall briefly discuss this subject now. Section 2. A human being's hands and feet are like the four legs of a table or chair. Look at the animals with 4 feet. Human being is able to accomplish the task of moving about with only 2 legs. It is amazing to think how much work is performed by means of one's hands, which have evolved from the two front legs, and also how birds, sorry, and also how birds, with the help of their two hands, fly happily in the blue sky like an airplane. In almost every animal, the body, not including the arms and legs, is divided into two parts. One is the head, and the other is the trunk. The head is the master's home, and the trunk in his factory. The master lives in his home with his chief superintendent, the intellect. His man assistant, the man, resides with the intellect and the mind itself. Has 10 servants, of 5 organs of knowledge and the 5 organs of action. Day and night, prana, the vital energy, the chief engineer of the factory, is ceaselessly engaged in work with immeasurable power. He has full control over all types of architectural work, both in the master's house, the head, and the factory trunk, that is, throughout the entire body. Operating the lungs, he gets rid of the polluted air from inside and brings in pure air from outside. As soon as food enters the mouth, he uses various types of chemicals and with astonishing skill converts the food into the different parts of the body. from the hair on the top of the head to the nails on the toes. He has to constantly remain engaged in building, preserving, and repairing the entire body. Just as a carpenter can make a beautiful furniture when he gets a fine piece of wood, so can prana build a firm and beautiful body when it gets good nutritious food. The general manager, the intellect, sits in one place and engages his chief assistant, the mind, in his duties. The mind has three responsibilities. His first job is to roam throughout the body, from the hair on the head to the nails on the toes, and gather information. His second job is to observe and gather all the information about the outside world with the help of his five servants, the organs of knowledge. His third job is to engage the five organs of action and work according to the directions of the intellect. If spies cannot provide perfectly reliable information regarding the condition of the neighboring kingdoms, the king is not able to make proper arrangements for the welfare of his own kingdom. In precisely the same way, the more opportunity the intellect's assistant, the mind, gets to observe conditions both within and without, and the more adept it becomes in its power of observation, the better the intellect can make arguments. Sorry, the better the intellect can make arrangements for self improvement. Therefore, the mind must be made strong, agile, and sharp so that the intellect may gain experience and devote itself to its own welfare. Although the intellect is the executor of all actions, we nevertheless find that it is the mind and prana that are always active within ourselves. We do not get very much information about the intellect, where it is, and what it does. But without keeping the intellect pure, it is impossible to progress in human life unless the intellect is pure. We cannot understand what life is or what progress in life means. Don't you see how much knowledge and understanding human being now has of the outside world? How much progress has been made in science? But these same men who are so proud of their education and culture are not at all ashamed to form factions. The sole reason for this is the lack of purity of the intellect. In ancient India, various means were employed to keep the intellect pure. We used to pray to the Lord three times a day, sunrise, noon, and sunset. May He inspire our intellects. Diyo, Diyo Yona Prachodayat. The main idea is this: by the word I have must understand a combination of four components: body, prana, mind, and intellect. The body and prana combine to form this physical, gross body, and the mind and intellect form this subtle body. These four elements have to be made fit for action. We shall now discuss briefly how this can be accomplished. Section 3: Body. The Though the body is more familiar and dear to a human being than anything else, he knows very little about it. However, success in life depends on perfect physical health. Our body is just like the chassis of a car. If it is not in good condition, it is dangerous to drive the car. So, first of all, we must make our bodies firm, strong, and adept at work. We find that some people have strength in the body, but it is soft. Some, on the other, have strength in the body and it is also firm, but also they lack experience. They are not adept at work. Therefore, the body must be made fit for work by adopting the following methods. The methods of making the body strong. First of all, learn from experienced people what you must do to make the body healthy and strong and what causes it to become weak and sick. Always keep a close watch on whether you are digesting what you eat. Now and then skip a meal or two and let the stomach rest. Exert yourself physically. The methods of making the body firm. Play games and exercise daily. Through exercise, the body becomes strong, and through games, one gains mastery over the movements of the body. Do some strenuous work. The methods of making the body efficient in work. Make him vow to follow a fixed routine. Never miss an opportunity to perform good deeds. As far as possible, don't rely on servants to do your personal chores. Try to learn all kinds of work. Do not hesitate to take on whatever task presents itself to you. You must all be like an unsheathed sword, ready for action. Prana. The power by which human beings execute all the functions of the body and mind is called prana. Circulation of blood throughout the body, digestion of food, nourishment of the body, and thinking, all these activities are performed with the help of the power of prana. In the Vedic society, children were taught to control the prana from a very early age. Nowadays, because of utterly mistaken notions about religion, people have given up disciplining the prana, thinking it to be the duty of spiritual seekers alone. But it is essential for everyone to learn how to control the prana. Utilizing the power of prana is one of the best means of stilling the restless mind. Prana is verily the inspirer of the mind. If one learns how to apply the power of prana at will, he will directly experience positive results in every action of his life. You will get a great deal of information about prana if you read Swami Vivekananda's Raja Yoga with the help of someone well versed in the subject. A few points about the control of prana should be noted. Try to thoroughly understand how prana manifests itself in the form of strength through the digestion of food. Be aware of how prana ceaselessly works throughout the body from head to foot. Make a habit of breathing rhythmically. Your mind will easily be concentrated in studies or in thinking about any particular subject if you breathe rhythmically for 2 or 3 minutes before starting the activity. The power of prana is uselessly wasted when the mind and body become agitated. So practice being calm and tranquil in all situations. Mind. There is limitless power in the human mind. Those who can consolidate this power and make it one pointed become renowned for their genius in the world. If one is not able to concentrate this power, it becomes wasted. To be victorious in the battle of life, search for the infinite storehouse of power accumulated through repeated births. If with a great zeal and indomitable perseverance you can once bring your mind under control, there will be nothing you cannot achieve. The mind is extremely restless and obstinate. It runs about the whole day, and it is difficult to restrain it from going in whatever direction it is accustomed to. Again, if the mind is kept engaged in good thoughts and naturally tends towards that direction, it can make one's life exalted. You must realize once and for all that you possess an irresistible power within the mind. To direct the mind to the proper path, you should observe the following rules. Always keep the mind engaged in noble thoughts. Perform all jobs, big or small, with great care, feeling that it is worship of the Lord. There is no greater foolishness than leaving yourself open to criticism through the performance of your work. Therefore, do all chores, big or small, with such care that no one will find occasion to criticize you. Studying the spiritual austerity of students. Chatranam Adhyayanam Tapah. Therefore, there must be no lapse in your studies. Look upon all people as your own relatives. Love all lands as your own motherland. Have respect for all religions. The mind is my servant. I am the master of my mind. Hold on to this knowledge firmly and do not let the mind become easily excited. Do not give expressions to any weakness or sentimentality in the mind. By thinking of the beauty, sweetness, and majesty of the Lord and great souls, the mind becomes pure, clear, one pointed, and strong. Intellect. The power of discrimination developed through many experiences is called the intellect. The more sharp intellect is developed, the more do actions become graceful and beneficent. All the arrangements for learning are for the development of the intellect. However, if one does not follow the methods for keeping the intellect pure but simply allows it to expand, it will lead to endless harm. There's no doubt that a human being's intellect has grown tremendously, but it is not pure. One cannot learn how to work for one's own welfare or for the welfare of the nation through such an impure intellect. It is necessary to develop the intellect, but there is an even greater need to make the intellect progressively purer and purer. This endeavor, however, is not at all easy. Along with education, one must employ all possible means for keeping the intellect pure. Keep in mind that the intellect that cannot bring about the lasting welfare of humans is not a true intellect at all. Age after age, Indian thinkers specializing in the science of the self have undertaken intense investigations using scientific methods into the origin, the intermediate period, and the end of living beings and have made certain definitive discoveries. Among these is the fact that unless the human intellect understands certain very essential points, it cannot determine what one's duty is regarding one's own welfare. The modern civilized world has at present no knowledge regarding the self of man, for whose sake so many elaborate arrangements for sense enjoyments have been made. Consequently, there is no end of worry and anxiety in the world. A summary of these essential things is very briefly given below. For the sake of enjoying color, taste, and other objects of the senses, each living being creates a new body upon the destruction of the old body, time and again. The body and mind for the next life are created according to the experiences of one's past lives, and by means of these, one experiences the fruits of past deeds. When the jiva dies, only the gross body is destroyed, all the good and bad impressions remain stored in the subtle body. People call these impressions fate or destiny. The jiva performs actions intentionally and cannot help but experience the results of its actions. One who works after knowing the secret of work can avoid the adverse effects of evil deeds. It is important to have a clear conception of the good and bad effects of mental and physical actions and to become habituated to thoughts and deeds which are beneficial to oneself. This is the goal of education and our introduction to understanding the intellect. The following rules it followed will greatly help in this matter. A keen enthusiasm for building an ideal life is the chief prerequisite for advancement. To acquire this, you should reflect on the ideals of the lives of great souls. The books of Swami Vivekananda will be of special help in this matter. Unless one performs work, the intellect will not become refined. Therefore, learn various kinds of work as far as possible. Develop an interest in projects such as decorating homes, creating flower and fruit gardens, discussing literature, and drawing pictures. Take a solemn vow. I shall not depend on others. I shall try to remain fully independent in all matters. Do not become drawn toward any particular object without first carefully discriminating about it. An indiscriminating liking or disliking of anything such as work, people, beliefs, or food is very harmful. Make the firm resolution I shall not harm anyone. Even if someone is hostile toward me, I shall help him. The best way to make one's intellect pure is to understand the true nature of the Lord and worship Him. Finally, you must learn a very important lesson regarding the intellect. One all knowing intelligence is operating this entire universe, and your particular intellect is but a small fraction of that intelligence. Through great willpower, you can join your limited intellect with that infinite intelligence. Then that vast intelligence will be manifested in this limited intelligence. Every day pray, may the Lord guide our intellects along the right path. Conclusion. The equal development of body, prana, mind, and intellect is true education, or in a word, the unfoldment of the self of a human being, Atma Vikasa. We consider a person to be truly educated and civilized who has had the opportunity to receive this kind of education. That is, who enjoys good health, who is full of energy, and who is thoughtful and intelligent. You must also notice that such an educated person will have a profound perception of pleasure and pain and appreciation for beauty. The greater the number of people possessed of such a power of perception and appreciation for the subtle things in life, the more civilized society will be. Our request to you in this matter is that you devote your attention from your student life onwards to awakening this ability to appreciate beauty. By doing so, you will certainly find that it has become developed to a high degree in your life. Unless you form the habit of creating beauty through your own efforts, you will not be able to appreciate the beauty in the words you have committed to memory. There is a great need in our country to form the habit of creating beauty all around us. If we do not know how to work with our own hands, we will have to tolerate unsightly and unclean surroundings, whether we like it or not. Then the power to appreciate beauty will gradually disappear. Some rules are to be followed in this regard. Understand and memorize some of the beautiful and inspiring verses from the Gita and Upanishads and recite them regularly. Read and discuss the beautiful and sweet lives of great souls on a regular basis. Develop an interest in such subjects as literature, music, and art, and practice them to your best ability. Make an effort to add to the beauty of your room, house, student home, school building, and garden. Make your own arrangements for celebrations, religious functions, and the like. It is especially beneficial to occasionally travel to beautiful places and to visit historical sites and places of pilgrimage. In conclusion, it is essential to express to you one further idea. Throughout the world, you will find people madly engaged in quarrels over differences in sectarian affiliation, beliefs, race, language, dress, and customs. The tragedy is that people consider this type of hostile irreligion to be religion. That is why modern human being shudders at the name of religion. Human being does not know that there is but one self residing in all beings which experiences happiness and misery. From now on, make a sincere effort to realize the glory of the Paramatman, the sum total of all souls, residing in the hearts of all beings, and become awakened through the doctrine of the oneness of the self. Know this to be the foundation of all ethics for the nation, for society, and for one's own personal life. In other words, the foundation of the power of God dwells within all beings in the form of consciousness. In some activities, this power becomes manifest, while in others, it remains dormant. When this power of consciousness increases, happiness results, and when it decreases, misery results. The work that yields happiness is called virtue, and the work which results in misery is called vice. Therefore, control your life in such a way that your work will not only not make you miserable but will carry you along the path to happiness. May all of you thus become happy yourselves and make others happy as well. Appendix. Study habits. When studying a language, pay careful attention to its grammar. Always remember that the goal of education is the attainment of knowledge and not mere passing of examinations. Language is the medium for the exchange of ideas with others. For mixing with foreigners, learn English, and for exchanging ideas with other Indians, learn Hindi. It is essential to learn Sanskrit, the original language of humans and the treasure of Indian culture. Memorize the Chanakya shlokas, verses on practical living, morals, and principles of government. Learn to chant a few Sanskrit verses composed in beautiful meters. Rules for learning religion. Always remember the following two utterances on religion of the great teacher Swami Vivekananda. Religion is being and becoming. In other words, religion means holding a particular idol before you and trying persistently to realize that idol. Religion is a manifestation of the divinity already in man. In other words, religion means unfolding the divine nature existing within man. People who consider the methods of religion to be the whole of religion create sects and quarrel with one another. But this is not true religion. Religion does not consist in believing any particular doctrine, but in molding our lives according to the beliefs we have accepted. Oh, may all this be an offering to Sri Ramakrishna. Swami Vivekananda on powers of the mind. All references are from the complete works of Swami Vivekananda. Take up one idea, make that one idea your life, think of it, dream of it, live on that idea. Let the brain, muscles, nerves, every part of your body be full of that idea and just leave every other idea alone. This is the way to success. If we really want to be blessed and make others blessed, we must go deeper. The more this power of concentration to more knowledge is acquired because this is the one and only method of acquiring knowledge. Even the lowest shoe black, if he gives more concentration, will black shoes better. The cook with concentration will cook a meal all the better. In making money or in worshipping God or in doing anything, the stronger the power of concentration, the better will that thing be done. This is the one call, the one knock which opens the gates of nature and lets out floods of light. How has all the knowledge in the world been gained but by the concentration of the powers of the mind? The world is ready to give up its secrets if we only know how to knock, how to give it the necessary blow. The strength and force of the blow come through concentration. There is no limit to the power of the human mind. The more concentrated it is, the more power it is brought to bear on one point. That is a secret. The main difference between men and the animals is the difference in their power of concentration. All success in any line of work is the result of this. The difference in their power of concentration also constitutes the difference between man and man. Compare the lowest with the highest man. The difference is in the degree of concentration. 90% of thought force is wasted by the ordinary human being, and therefore he is constantly committing blunders. The trained man or mind never makes a mistake. How to attain purity? Living this life. Shall we go to the forest caves? What good would it do? If the mind is not under control, it is no use living in a cave because the same mind will bring all disturbances there. We will find 20 devils in the cave because all the devils are in the mind. If the mind is under control, we can have the cave anywhere, wherever we are. It is our own mental attitude which makes the world what it is for us. Our thoughts make things beautiful, our thoughts make things ugly. The whole world is in our own minds. Learn to see things in the proper light. All the great prophets, saints, and seers of the world, what did they do? In one span of life, they lived the whole life of humanity, traversed the whole length of time that it takes ordinary humanity to come to perfection. In one life, they perfect themselves. They have no thought for anything else, never live a moment of for any other idea. And thus the way is shortened for them. This is what is meant by concentration, intensifying the power of assimilation, the shortening the time. No words can be created, it can only be directed. Therefore, we must learn to control the grand powers that are already in our hands and by willpower make them spiritual instead of merely animal. Thus, it is clearly seen that chastity is the cornerstone of all morality and of all religion. Free, we who cannot for the moment govern our own minds, nay, cannot hold our minds on a subject, focus it on a point to the exclusion of everything else for a moment. Yet we call ourselves free. Think of it. The mind uncontrolled and unguided will drag us down, forever rend us, kill us. And the mind controlled and guided will us free, save us, free us. What work do you expect from men of little hearts? Nothing in the world. You must have an iron will if you would cross the ocean. You must be strong enough to pierce mountains. Good and evil thoughts are each a potent power, and they fill the universe. As vibrations continue, so thought remains in the form of thought until translated into action. For example, force is latent in the man's arm until he strikes a blow. When he translates it into activity, we are the heads of good and evil thought. If we make ourselves pure and the instruments of good thoughts, these will enter us. The good soul will not be receptive to evil thoughts. In the history of mankind, you will find that there come these messengers, and that from their very birth their mission is found and formed. The whole plan is there laid down, and you see them swerving not 1 inch from that. Because they come with a mission, they come with a message. When they speak, each word is direct. It bursts like a bombshell. What is in the word, unless it has the power behind? What matters is what language you speak and how you arrange your language. What matters is whether you speak correct grammar or with fine rhetoric. What matters is whether your language is ornamental or not. The question is whether or not you have anything to give. It is a question of giving and taking and not listening. Have you anything to give? That is the first question. If you have, then give. Thank you.